Every single day, Riku. The last melon bread. She saves it for me at exactly 5:47.
A bakery clerk holds a sold-out item just for you? Sure, and my professor cares about my sleep schedule.
I'm not joking. Her name's Hana. She always smiles, hands me the bag, says, just for you, like clockwork.
You're telling me the most popular item, gone by 4 p.m., magically appears because you show up? That's either a scam or you're paying extra.
I pay the normal price. I don't know. It feels like a miracle. It's been months.
Then prove it. I'm coming with you today. If she actually has it, I'll buy you dinner. If not, you stop this miracle nonsense.
Fine, you'll see. Let's go now.
Yuma led Riku toward the small bakery 3 blocks from campus, his heart beating faster than any lecture ever made it.
It has to be there. It always is, right?
The cozy storefront of Hana's bakery came into view, its warm lights glowing against the late afternoon chill. The bell above the door chimed as Yuma pushed inside, the scent of warm bread wrapping around him like a promise.
Yuma, you made it. The usual.
Her voice caught. She had just noticed the unfamiliar boy standing behind Yuma, arms crossed and smirking.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The melon bread, it sold out completely today. I didn't even save one for myself.
Wow. The miracle evaporated the moment I showed up. Guess this one only works when the audience isn't watching.
It was real. It was always real. Why today? Why did she look so scared?
As they walked away, Yuma turned one last time and glimpsed Hana through the glass. Her head bowed, hands gripping the counter. That night, sleep never came. Yuma sat in his cramped apartment, the glow of his phone screen the only light.
Her baking account, she posts a photo of melon bread every single day. And every single day, the post is gone by morning.
The latest one was posted at 5:32 p.m. and deleted at 6:04 p.m. with the caption, "Hoping today is the day someone finally sees it." The next morning, Yuma slipped out before sunrise, finding a shadowed spot across from the bakery. At 6:10 a.m., Hana hurried around the corner, clutching a large brown paper bag, not the usual bakery packaging.
That bag's too big for a lunch. And why come in the back door so early?
A few hours later, Yuma entered the bakery as a regular customer, determined to probe without outright accusing.
Hey, Hana, quick question. Do you ever bake at home? You seem so good at it. I'd bet you practice all night.
Me? Bake? No, I barely have time. I just help Grandpa here. Why? Why do you ask?
She's lying through her teeth. That bag this morning, is she stealing bread to give me?
He bought a croissant to avoid suspicion, but his appetite had already been replaced by a cold knot in his stomach.
I can't let this slide. After her shift, I'm getting the truth. No more miracle.
When the sun began its slow descent, Yuma was already waiting across the street, watching the bakery's front door. The bakery door clicked shut, and Hana stepped out, her apron slung over one arm, her usual bounce completely gone.
Hana, you're going to explain that bag you sneaked in this morning. I'm not leaving without knowing.
You saw me? But it's not what you're thinking, Yuma. I promise.
I saw you, and today you lied about baking. So tell me straight. Are you stealing bread from your grandfather's shop for me?
No, stealing? Never. It's nothing like that, please believe me.
Then, what is it? You're hiding something, and I can't keep accepting bread that comes from nowhere.
She tried to answer, but a choked sob escaped instead. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she shook her head, mouthing something unheard.
I'm sorry, I can't. You'd look at me differently.
And then she was gone, sprinting into the evening, her crying swallowed by the dark. He stood there, the space she left feeling enormous.
She didn't deny it wasn't stealing, but she wouldn't say what. She looked terrified, not guilty. What secret makes someone that scared? I thought I was the victim. Now I'm not so sure.
Yuma found no sleep again. At dawn, he was at the bakery before opening, knocking on the side door. The door cracked open, and Grandpa peered out, glasses askew, flour dust on his white apron.
You're not here for bread at this hour, son. Come in, I'll put the kettle on.
Inside, the ovens were just starting their low hum. Yuma struggled to form words, the weight of the last day pressing down.
Sir, Hana? I think she's been stealing bread. She brings a bag every morning and she lied about baking, but when I asked, she just cried.
Grandpa listened without interruption. Then a low chuckle rumbled from his chest.
Stealing? Oh no, that girl doesn't have a thief's bone. The bag you saw, it's not what you think.
Then what is it? Please, I just want to understand. She's kind, but this is something else.
She's too kind, that's all. But it's not my story to tell. If you really want to know, watch her not from a distance but closely. See the work she does when no one's looking.
Yuma left through the side door, the morning light now pale gold. He had to see Hana when she thought no one was watching. Yuma found a narrow gap beside the window where the curtain didn't quite reach. He could see the display fridge clearly. Inside, Hana glanced toward the front door, then crouched to unlock the display fridge with a key from her apron. She slipped a foil-wrapped loaf onto the middle shelf, positioning it behind the melon bread 250 yen tag, almost indistinguishable from the others.
That's not bakery packaging. Crumpled foil, no stamp. It looks like something someone made in their own kitchen.
The moment she vanished into the back room, Yuma slipped inside, his pulse hammering as he crossed to the fridge. He lifted the loaf. The crust was slightly uneven, with a faint thumbprint in the dough, and the melon pattern was hand-traced rather than stamped.
She's been baking these at home, sneaking them in every morning just for me. Not stealing, giving, and she was terrified I'd hate her for it.
A wave of confusion and warmth washed over him. For months she'd spent her own money, her own time, all in secret, without a single word.
I cornered her like a criminal, and all she wanted was to make sure I didn't go hungry.
He slid the loaf back into place, exactly as he'd found it. No more accusations, just the truth, and a way to ask properly. Back in his cramped apartment that evening, the image of the foil-wrapped loaf wouldn't leave Yuma alone. He pulled up a grocery price list on his phone, then began writing: flour, melon essence, yeast, butter, wrapping foil.
The melon flavoring alone costs nearly as much as the flour. There's no way this adds up to 250 yen.
By the time he'd tallied the ingredients, the red ink on the page told a story he didn't want to read.
She's losing at least 80 yen per loaf. Extra eggs, nice foil, probably closer to 100 yen gone every single time.
Loss upon loss, multiplied by nearly 60 visits. The total sat on the paper like an accusation.
I've been taking money from a girl who works part-time in her family's shop without even knowing.
Every bread he'd accepted as a miracle had been paid for in her hours, her sleep, her own pocket change.
I can't keep pretending this is harmless. I have to talk to her. No accusations, just a thank you and an apology.
He closed the notebook, and with it his excuses. Tomorrow he would find her, and he would listen. The next morning, Yuma entered the bakery not as a customer chasing a miracle, but as someone carrying a debt he'd only just discovered.
Hana, can I talk to you for a second? Not about the other night. I just need to say something.
Yuma, if you're still angry, I really am sorry. I didn't mean to make you suspicious.
I'm not angry. I saw you. The bread in the foil, it's homemade. You bake it yourself, don't you?
You saw? I didn't. It's not what you think, I swear. I just...
Then tell me what it is. Why would you do this for me? Every single day, losing your own money.
Losing money? I don't know what you mean. I just wanted you to be able to get it, that's all.
Please, Hana. Is it pity? Because you saw me counting coins and skipping lunch? I can't accept pity.
No, it's not pity. I'd never. It's just... I can't explain without sounding strange.
The conversation fell into an awkward silence. She wasn't ready to share the truth, and he wasn't sure he was ready to hear it. He tried to leave extra coins, but she returned them with a shy shake of her head.
She loses money every time and I can't even repay her. How do I fix this?
He skipped the 5:47 slot on purpose. Passing later, he glimpsed her through the window, elbows on the counter, staring at the untouched loaf.
You look like you just lost a boxing match? Still obsessing over the bread girl? It's more than bread, Riku. She's spending her own money to make it for me. I can't just accept it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Unless she's into you. Like, really into you? A crush? No way. She's just kind. But what if... No, that's ridiculous.
You're blushing. So you have thought about it. Yuma buried his face in his hands, groaning. Riku's theory was too simple to be the whole story, but it planted a seed.
If it's not pity and it's not a crush, then what is she so afraid to tell me?
Yuma hung back as Hana left the bakery, following her at a patient distance through the evening streets. She turned into a small supermarket, and he lingered near the doorway, watching her from behind a display. She chose flour, melon extract, real butter, nothing cheap. Her movements were slow, as if the day had already drained her.
She's buying the priciest ingredients. Does she always do this? No wonder she's losing so much money.
She paid with a handful of coins, then walked home, the bags pulling her shoulders down. He stopped at the corner. A small, modest house with a warm kitchen glow that was hers. Hana disappeared inside, and a few minutes later, the kitchen light brightened. Yuma crept closer to the side window. Through the thin curtain, he saw her silhouette kneading dough with a heavy rhythm, hair escaping her pigtails, shoulders hunched.
She does this every night, for me, all alone while I was angry at her for lying.
Yuma pressed his palm against the cold wall, a quiet promise settling in his chest. He would find a way to lift even a little of this weight. The sky was still dark gray when Yuma returned to the bakery. This time, Grandpa was waiting at the side door, holding it open without a word. He led Yuma silently to the display fridge, then stepped back, vanishing into the dim back room. There it was, a single foil-wrapped loaf, but today a small white note was tucked beneath the wrinkled foil. The note read, "For Yuma, I hope it helps." Simple words, written in careful, girlish handwriting.
I hope it helps. Not enjoy or see you tomorrow. She's been worrying about whether this bread actually matters.
His chest tightened. For months, she had not only given him bread, she had wondered if it was enough.
This isn't charity. This is someone who genuinely wants me to be okay. Someone who sees me. I need to find her. No more half-truths. I'll ask directly, and I'll listen before I speak.
Grandpa reappeared only long enough to nod toward the back door, as if giving permission for what came next. Yuma stepped out into the cold morning, the note a small, warm weight in his pocket. The morning stayed cold as Yuma walked the quiet streets to Hana's house, rehearsing words that felt heavier than any exam. The door opened barely a crack, then wider. Hana's eyes went round when she saw who was waiting.
I found this tucked under the foil this morning. For Yuma, I hope it helps. You wrote that.
You weren't supposed to see that. It was just a silly thing I wrote for myself.
Then let me ask you plain. Why, Hana? Every day, the bread, the money, the late nights, why is it all for me?
Because I saw you. That first day, you were counting coins at the counter. You put back the drink to afford the bread. I know that kind of math. I know what it feels like to be hungry and pretend you're not.
Then she pressed her hand to her mouth and fled inside, the door closing with a soft, final click.
She knows, not just from watching, from memory. Something happened to her. Something that still hurts.
He stood frozen on the porch, the morning silence pressing in, the note still clutched in his hand. Yuma turned back toward the bakery. When he pushed the side door open, Grandpa was waiting inside, and the look on his face said he had decided to speak.
Sir, I need to know. Hannah told me she understands hunger, and then she ran. Please, what happened to her?
You've earned the right, but it's not a happy story. When Hana was young, her mother grew ill. Every coin went to medicine. Some days Hana had nothing to eat. At a temple market, An old man saw her counting empty pockets. He started leaving her a rice ball, always claiming it was left over. He never asked for thanks. He just smiled and said, "No one should be hungry alone." But Hana was ashamed, Yuma. Ashamed of being poor, ashamed of needing help. She hid it even from me. When she saw you counting coins, she recognized that same shame. She made a vow. No one near her would ever feel that invisible hunger.
She wasn't pitying me. She was protecting me from the shame she knows too well.
The weight of his accusations settled on him. He had called her a thief when all she had ever done was keep someone from starving. Yuma found Hana alone at the counter the next afternoon, her back to him, as she wiped a surface that was already spotless.
Hana, I know I messed things up. Can we just talk for a minute?
She didn't turn. Her shoulders went rigid, and the silence stretched painfully before she finally answered.
Grandpa needs me in the back. I'm really busy today.
That wall is solid concrete. Her secret keeps her safe, and I almost cracked it open. I can't push her again. But I can't keep taking her money. Every loaf costs her more than she'll ever say. If I can't thank her, I'll repay her in secret.
He found Grandpa in the kitchen after closing, the old man wiping flour from his hands. Yuma spoke before he could lose the nerve.
You want to work here without pay? That's a heavy promise, son. Why would you do that?
Because she's been paying for my meals and ingredients and hours. I want to earn every bit of that back, but she can never know it's me.
Stubborn, just like her. All right. But if you slip and she catches you, you'll be the one to mend her pride.
Long before the sun touched the storefront, Yuma was at the back door, blinking sleep from his eyes.
Today, the flour sacks need moving, and the display trays need scrubbing before the ovens warm up.
By the time the first batch of bread scent drifted through the shop, Yuma had already been working for 2 hours. He slid into his lecture hall with flour still under his nails, propping his eyelids open by sheer will.
I nearly fell asleep in macroeconomics, but when I think of why I'm doing it, the tiredness doesn't feel like a burden.
From the back, he caught glimpses through the pass-through window. Hana at the counter, her smile never dimming. She greeted an old woman with the same warmth she gave a nervous student counting change, never once looking impatient.
She hums when she arranges the cookies, every time. It's like the bakery has its own soundtrack.
He caught himself looking forward to the next morning's shift, not for the wages, but for the sound of that humming. The secret weighed, but the bread felt lighter than ever. Hana stepped into the back room to grab fresh towels and found a rag draped over the sink, a rag that wasn't bakery standard. She lifted it and froze. Embroidered in neat, careful stitches on the corner was a single name, Yuma.
His? But he's never in the back. No one is, unless someone has been cleaning before I arrive. The floors, the stacked trays, that's not Grandpa's work. That's been happening for days.
She burst into the kitchen, the cloth still clutched in her fist, and found Grandpa sliding a loaf from the oven.
Grandpa, did you let someone work here without telling me? This has Yuma's name on it.
I told him it would come out. He's been scrubbing floors and hauling flour every morning before dawn for no pay.
No pay? But why? Did he find out about the money? Does he know I was losing cash on every loaf?
He knows, Hana. He's been trying to earn back every single yen, so you wouldn't have to carry it alone.
Hana's legs gave way, and she sank onto a flour sack, the cloth pressed to her lips. He knew, and he hadn't said a word. When Yuma stepped out the back door into the evening chill, he found Hana leaning against the wall, arms crossed, the cloth with his name still crumpled in her fist.
Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Scrubbing floors in the dark so I wouldn't owe you anything?
This isn't about debt, Hana. I couldn't keep taking from you after I saw what it cost you every night, every yen.
You didn't have to do anything. I never asked you to pay me back. That was my choice, mine.
And this is my choice. The thought of you losing money while I just ate and smiled, it ate at me. I couldn't live with that.
I was so scared. Scared you'd hate me if you knew I was pitying you. Every day I was terrified you'd figure it out and never come back.
It wasn't pity. You were protecting me from the same hunger you knew. That's not something to hate. That's something to understand.
The anger drained from her face, replaced by a fragile, searching look, as if she were seeing him truly for the first time.
You really don't think less of me?
The bakery sign flickered off behind them, and something long clenched between them finally, silently, unclenched. Without a word, Yuma led her to a small park, a block away, where a wooden bench sat beneath a ginkgo tree, its leaves trembling in the night breeze.
I need to tell you the rest. Not what Grandpa said, what I couldn't say myself. My mother was sick for years. Every coin we had went to her medicine. I was 9, and I learned to ignore my stomach growling. Then an old man at a temple market started leaving me rice balls. Every day. Left over. He never asked for thanks. He just said, no one should be hungry alone. Those words burrowed into me, but I was so ashamed. I swore to myself, if I ever saw someone else counting coins and going without, I'd make sure they didn't face it unnoticed. I'd be someone's old man.
She's been carrying that weight alone since she was a kid, and I called her a thief. I made her run because I was too proud to see.
A single tear slid down his cheek, then another. He hadn't cried since the bus ride that took him to college, alone and terrified.
She saw me. Not my wallet, not my backpack me. And she chose to be kind when no one else would have.
Hana reached into her bag and pulled out the foil-wrapped melon bread, still warm from the display. She broke it in half and pressed one piece into Yuma's hand. They ate in silence, the night folding around them like a blanket. The miracle, finally, was no miracle at all. Just 2 people who understood hunger and had stopped being hungry alone. Back inside the bakery with only the emergency light on, Yuma leaned against the counter, the night's words still humming in the air.
Hana, I don't want to work here in secret anymore. I want to stay, really stay. Not to repay anything, but because this place feels like it's mine too.
You want to keep working here? Even after all the secrets and the mess I made?
The doubt on her face melted into something rare, a smile without the weight of hiding, bright and unguarded.
Then of course you can stay. Grandpa, did you hear that?
Grandpa had been leaning in the doorway all along, arms crossed. He wiped a smudge from his glasses and let out a small, satisfied huff. The next morning, before the ovens fully awoke, Yuma stood in the back room and tied his apron with a steady hand. This time, the knot felt like a promise.
I'm not a ghost here anymore. I'm just Yuma, and that's enough.
When Hana walked in and found him already stocking the morning pastries, a laugh escaped her, light and free, the sound of a bakery waking from a long dream. Grandpa shuffled out and extended a flour-dusted hand. Yuma took it. No grand speech, just a handshake that said, "You're home." The days that followed took on a gentle, unhurried rhythm, the bakery humming like a second heartbeat. At 5:47 each afternoon, Yuma would glance at the clock just as Hana lifted a foil-wrapped loaf from the tray.
You know, we could just call this our official break. I'll even put it on the schedule.
It's been my official break since the day I first walked in hungry.
They'd share it on the stool by the window, the crust still warm, the crumbs soft and sweet. Grandpa, kneading dough in the kitchen, would steal a glance and shake his head, smiling. Every bite of that bread tasted less like charity and more like home. One afternoon, Hana lobbed a puff of flour at Yuma's face. He retaliated, and the resulting cloud left them both speckled and wheezing with laughter.
I've never been so floured and so happy.
The wall clock ticked past 5:47, unnoticed. The bakery now measured time in shared bread and laughter. After closing one evening, when the street had gone quiet and the bakery was locked, Yuma found Hana already on the wooden bench by the door.
Back then, I really thought you'd hate me. Even kindness can feel like a lie when you're scared of how it looks.
I was scared too. Not of you, but of being seen as someone who needed charity. I almost threw away the best thing that happened to me because of pride.
We're a pair, aren't we? both so busy protecting the other that we almost missed the point.
Then let's promise. No more secret bread, no more secret favors, just the truth, even when it's awkward.
The truth, even when it's awkward. Deal.
They didn't clasp hands. They just sat a little closer. Two shadows that had finally stopped running. The sky deepened into violet, and for the first time, neither of them looked at the clock.
Thank you, Hana, for the bread, yes. But more for not letting me go hungry when I was too proud to ask.
The bakery stood behind them, dark and quiet, but full of tomorrow's dough rising in the cold-proofing box, a promise that the day would come and it would be warm again. The next day, a young woman with short brown hair shuffled to the counter, her eyes fixed on the coin purse in her palm.
Counting coins? Putting back a drink to stretch the yen. I know exactly how that feels. We saved the last melon bread for you today. No one else gets it, just you.
The girl's face lit up, the tight lines of worry melting into a surprised, grateful smile.
She's going to be okay. That's the real miracle. It never really ended.
The girl clutched the bag to her chest, a quiet thank you escaping her lips before she turned to leave. The door chime rang, and Hana caught Yuma's eye across the bakery, a silent exchange that needed no words.
You know, I used to think it was just bread, but it's never been about the bread.
She tucked the paper bag into her school satchel, the first real smile of the day blooming on her face, and stepped out into the sun. The chimes sang again, and the bakery settled back into its quiet rhythm, full of flour, kindness, and a promise that no one would be hungry alone.